All right, Shalom Akim. First and foremost, I want to begin this lesson by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Yahweh being the true name of the Heavenly Father, who you people refer to as God, and His only begotten Son, whom the world ignorantly called Jesus Christ, which in the ancient Hebrew tongue His name is Yahweh Shai. I also want to give double honors to the head apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and to all you brothers out there that's continuing to labor in His work, not wavering or becoming faint in your watch. I say Shalom. Yeah, so this is the book of Matthew, chapter 25 and verse 1. Then shall the kingdom of heaven be likened unto 10 virgins, which took their lamps and went forth to meet the bridegroom. And 5 of them were wise, and 5 were foolish. Yeah, and this scripture actually outlines the fact that everybody is not on the same level. That's why you have so much friction when the truth come out. Because you got people out there that don't understand, and the Lord has blessed certain men to understand. All right? Because you got a lot of people out here, you know, just being in America too long, they push that equal opportunity crap, you know? But the Lord is not dealing with equal opportunity, man. The Lord got certain men that He chose to be wise and some to be foolish. All right? Matter of fact, with that, let me get a quick precept just to further prove this point. This is Sirach chapter 42 and verse 24. All things are double one against another, and He have made nothing imperfect. One thing established the good or another, and who shall be filled with beholding His glory? Yes, so the scriptures tell you that all things are double one against another, meaning you got a left, you got right, you got up, you got down, all right? You got bad, you got good, you got foolish, and you got wise. So there's a lot of people out there who feel threatened because they don't know these scriptures. And when the scriptures come out, the true men of the Lord bring the truth out, they get offended because they feel like, well, who are you? You know, you're not over me. We're all equal. Everybody's created equal. And that bullshit, all right? But the fact of the matter is, you got some wise and you got some foolish. There's no in between. If you don't understand these scriptures, you are considered foolish. I don't care how many bachelor's degrees you might have, man. All right? Verse 3, they that were foolish took their lamps and took no oil with them. While the bridegroom tarried, they all slumbered and slept. And at midnight there was a cry made, behold, the bridegroom cometh, go ye out to meet him. Yeah, that's right. And that's another major aspect that goes into this truth, actually going out, you know? You have men, see, having this wisdom, it's a lot of intangibles that come along with it, man. You can't say you got this truth, but yet you sitting in the comfort of your own home, all right, under the central air and central heat. To fully have a true understanding, 100% understanding of the will of the Most High is you got to actually go out. You take this truth and you go out, all right? Because if you know what we're talking about, yet you're not going out pushing the word, well, you're not considered wise. Matter of fact, let me get that. This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 1, and verse 20. Wisdom crieth without. She uttered her voice in the streets. Right, so if you're not on the streets, then you're not wise. Wisdom don't cry within. Now, of course, we do videos during the week, all right? Because we are what you call diligent, all right? But overall, if you're not out on the streets teaching this word, pushing out this word, then you're not wise. You're not one of those 5 wise virgins, all right? So back in Matthew 25 and the 7th verse, then all those virgins arose and trimmed their lamps. Right, and now when you trim your lamp, that's, let's just say in the modern terms, if you got a lighter, all right? To trim that lighter, you flick that lighter. And if that lighter have no fluid in it, it's not gonna come on, all right? So really, the form of trimming is listening to this word. That's how you trim your lamp. When you hear this word, all right, let's just say the first time you heard this word, your lamp was being trimmed. And if you had the oil, then guess what? The light come on. You know, like the cartoons, a light bulb appear over a guy's head when they get a great idea or a thought come to them, you know? Well, that's the same in this truth. Once your lamps are trimmed, which is flickered by way of the preaching, you know, when you heard the apostles, they was flickering your lighter, so to speak. And like we do, when we talk to other people, you know, we flicking and trimming their lamp. But if they have no oil in them, then guess what's gonna happen? You're gonna continue to flick and flick and flick, and it's gonna go nowhere. Then what usually happens when you got a lighter and it ain't coming on? You throw that motherfucker, man, all right? Or you got a car, you keep trying to crank the car, it won't catch. You're like, fuck, man. So that's what happens, man. If you got the oil, once we bring the word to you, which is a form of trimming your lamp, then that light is gonna spark. You're gonna say, oh, I get it, all right? Verse 8, and the foolish said unto the wise, give us of your oil, for our lamps are gone out. Right, and this is in play right now. Matter of fact, I'm gonna give you an example of this, all right? When you think of the men that, came in well before us, all right, these characters who our apostles highlight, Lahab, and a great example is this guy Balu, all right? He had the oil at one point, and Lahab or some of these guys, but they oil went out. Let me read it again. It says, and the foolish said unto the wise, give us of your oil, for our lamps are gone out. And that's the thing. And what you brothers got to realize, even if you got the oil now, your oil can go out. See, it's a lot of variables that goes along in this parable. Just because you got the oil don't mean you're going to keep the oil, man. You got to keep re-upping on the oil. Like they say in the dope game, you sell out of your drugs, you re-up. Because let's say if you got a lamp, right, that takes oil, the more you burn that lamp, the more the oil is going to go out. And you're going to have to go and re-up on the oil. And how do you do that? You go back into the scriptures. That's why, I know, speaking for myself, I go and I read. Then as you read, all kind of lessons pop up in your head. That's because I'm going to the sellers that buy, all right? Which this parable actually going to tell you that, in the next verse. But, concerning your lamps going out or your oil going out, that can happen to anybody, man. If you are not constantly refilling your oil. Because this is left as an example for you to examine. If you actually got a lamp and you use oil, and as long as you burn that light, well, guess what? That oil is going to be running out. You got to continue to keep re-upping on that oil, man. All right? You can't just use your oil up and not go back to the scriptures, Matter of fact, what's that? Proverbs, I think that's Proverbs 21. Yeah. This is Proverbs 21 and 20. There is treasure to be desired and oil in the dwelling of the wise, but a foolish man spendeth it up. All right? So, yeah, you can have the oil, but if you're foolish, you're going to spend it up. All right? So when you go back to Matthew 25 and 8, when it says, and the foolish said unto the wise, give us of your oil, for our lamps are gone out. That means that they spent their oil up. And there's a lot of guys that was right amongst Great Millstone It was guys right amongst all these different camps, man. All right, it was guys amongst my camp that had the oil, but they just rolled on that little oil. They wasn't diligent and they didn't never keep going back, refilling that oil up. And their lamps just totally went out after that, all right? Verse 9, but the wise answered, saying, not so, lest there be not enough for us and you. But go ye rather to them that sell and buy for yourselves. Which means you got to go to the scriptures, man. You got to go to Yahawashi, all right? You got to go to Yahawashi. That's why a lot of guys come into these, what I call writer block, you know? They get to a point, damn, I can't do no more videos. That's because you're not going into the scriptures, man. Or you running out of things, you know, you running out of topics. So-called writer's block in its truth, a spiritual writer's block. That only comes about because you running out of oil, man. Which if you only kept going back to Yahawashi, which is the scriptures. Matter of fact, let me get it. That's, I think that's Revelation. Yeah, Revelation, the 3rd chapter. Yeah, this is Revelation 3:18. I counsel thee to buy of me gold tried in the fire, that thou mayest be rich, and white raiment, that thou mayest be clothed, and that thy shame of thy nakedness do not appear, and anoint thine eyes with eye salve, that thou mayest see. Yeah, so this is the words of Yahawashi. He said, I counsel thee to buy of me. So he's the one that's selling it, man, without money, all right? Which he is the scriptures. So that's how you keep your oil, man. That's how you keep your oil. That's how the apostles have kept their lamps burning for all these years, because they stay in the scriptures. They stay doing business with Yahawashi, all right? So let me go back. Matthew 25 and verse 9, but the wise answered, saying, not so, lest there be not enough for us and you. But go ye rather to them that sell and buy for yourselves. Yeah, and that's Yahawashi. And while they went to buy, the bridegroom came, and they that were ready went in with him into the marriage, and the door was shut. All right? So there's going to be a cutoff period in this thing, man. There's actually going to be a cutoff period, man. It's going to be a time where these scoffers and scorners and these different guys going to come to the realization that we got the truth, and they're going to try to get right, but it's going to be too late. See, because right now is the time, this the grace period, man. All this fuckery, man, and tiptoeing and pussyfooting around, straddling the fence, twiddling your thumbs and shit like that. You got to be in this thing, man, all right? Because it's going to be a shut-off date. Verse 11, afterward came also the other virgin, saying, Lord, Lord, open to us. But he answered and said, verily I say unto you, I know you not. Watch therefore, for ye know neither the day nor the hour wherein the Son of Man cometh. So there you have it, man. If you were wise, you're going to basically follow the example of the apostles, man, to simplify it, all right? You're gonna do these shows, you're gonna go out on the highways and hedges, and you're gonna stay studying in the scriptures. That's another thing a lot of guys dismiss. You know, I had a guy like that was in the camp, you know, and he we was trying to encourage him to read more. The guy wasn't into reading. He was more into watching the videos. That ain't the pattern that you're supposed to follow. The pattern is to, you know, do the work, you know, do the videos and read, man. When you read, that's going to the sellers. And like I said, you know, for an example, you know, this is facts. Whenever I read, man, all kind of lessons come to mind, man. That's the Lord restoring that oil and keeping that. I'm actually buying oil, you know, from Yahawashi. Whenever you read, you know, you read Psalms, you read just all these different books, man. That's like going to the mall. When you go into the scriptures, all kind of lessons pop up, man. All right? So, yeah, I hope there was an edifying lesson until the next time I say shalom.